Hello everyone, it's Angie here at Beads and Plenty More. Today I thought I'd do a Crescent Moon Dreamcatcher. So I've got a couple of rings here. These are brass rings. I've got a 4-inch one and I've got a 2-inch one. And I took some time and actually glued them together with a little bit of E6000 so they're secured together, just somewhat temporarily. And I'm going to do the webbing up with sinew. So this is sinew here. And what I've done is I've cut myself a 2-meter piece already, and sinew is really, really thick like a ribbon. And so when I cut my piece, I actually took it and I frayed it down to get the piece that I wanted. So I've got a thickness that's more in this line, just a thinner piece of the larger stuff. So we're gonna start with I've got about 2 meters here. I'm just going to tie it onto my ring here, right where the glue joint is. Just something that secures it on there. There we go. And then I'm going to start actually creating my web. So I'm going to work up. So I'm going to come over here, and this is where I want my first web to be. So I'm going to lay the thread on top and come through. So we'll maybe make it sit right there. So I like to hold it with my thumb and my finger when I go to do the next one. So I'm on top of my Dreamcatcher ring, and I'm coming through. So I'll work that all the way around here. So when I was picking rings out for this project, I found that if you went with, like, say a 4-inch one, you probably wanted to go 2 sizes smaller for the one on the inside. So if I go with a 5-inch one, I want a 3-inch one on the inside. But because I've got the 4-inch one here, I've got a 2-inch one on the inside. So we're getting around here. Do one more in here. Okay, so now I'm back to my beginning, and I'm just going to take it and I'm going to wrap it a couple times in this glue joint area. And then I might skip that first one. And this is a little bit about just kind of eyeballing it to see what looks right. So if I want to come from the top side. So I'm over top of my piece there. I'm going to come through. So I'm between the ring and the thread there from my first circle around. And then I want to come through my loop that I create, so this loop here. So I'm just going to come back this way. And I just kind of eyeball the center of that. So same thing with the next one. Down and through. Pull it until I think I got it where I want it, and then I'm going to pull it tight. So I figured I'd make this part of a window decoration, but it could certainly hang over a bed or something as well. So again, we're just going to wrap this area. Then I want to bring my thread back on top. And we're going to come through my loop. So if I can get the thread to go through, there we go. So from the top down, through that loop. And then through the loop I create. So I'm going to come back up. There we go. I had that nice little bundle at the beginning and it kind of fell apart, so it's getting a little harder to thread the thread. So at this point, I might just anchor it here and go back the other way. So I'm just wrapping it an extra time around. And maybe we'll do through and then back through by loop. Need to loosen that one up a little bit because it pulled too tight too quickly. There we go. And I'm just going to loop it under my ring there before doing the next one. So it'll anchor it in. So I switched directions on you. I'm now going the other way with my thread. You could just flip this over too. That would also work. So I'm going to come under that ring again. Bring the thread up to the top. And then we're going through this one and through the loop that we create. are. And at this point, I'm just going to wrap. I would normally take that knot out that is in my cord there, but I'm just going to show you how to finish it off here. I just want to cover this area in that has my glue knot. So I'm just taking my extra cord and just wrapping. Just giving it a finished look. And that last one, just loosen it up enough that I can slip my cord through it. And I might even secure it with a second knot. So I will trim my ends off here, and then I'll show you how to add some little sparkly beads in the middle. And come back in a moment. Okay, so I got rid of the extra cord, and I actually added just a little bit of glue onto my knot to make sure it was good and secure and it would hold. And then I've got a couple beads here, and I've got 20 gauge wire. And I'm just gonna create a little drop in the center of my little moon. So using my round nose pliers, I'm just going to create a little spiral here. And to finish my spiral off, I just need to switch over to some needle nose pliers. We'll use this pair, it's easier. Give it a little coil. That looks big enough. So then I'm just going to thread my bead on. Let's put the star above it. And that should hang down about right. So just pull it forward. And I want it to have a fairly large loop, so I'm going to cut this longer than I normally would. So with my round nose pliers, just come in. Oh, I should have picked some larger barrel round nose pliers because these are a bit on the small side for what I want to do. There we go. Nice big loop. And it looks like it should sit maybe about here. Close that up. So there's that one hanging in there. And I also figured I'd hang some tails off the bottom. So these, I've got a couple done already. I added the star and I've got a little teardrop here. And I figured that the chain would give it lots of motion, making it so that it it caught the light, and because these are crystals, they will create rainbows. So I'm just gonna hook it in. I think it'll sit about there. And that's sitting about right. And I've got one more tail to do here. Now I grabbed a finer gauge wire because these are top drilled, these ones here. I'll show you what I mean by top drilled. So it goes through the top end of it. And if I just take it and I bring, so I've got a longer end and a shorter end there. And the short end is going to go around the long end a couple times. Just trim any tail off. Put the star on. And then I'm ready to do the top loop. So I'm going to pull it forward, create my loop. Now because I'm doing a wrapped loop here, I need to hook it onto my chain, or else I won't be able to hook it without adding an extra ring. So I'm just going to hold my needle nose pliers and I'll just wrap the tail end. There we go, that looks good. So that's the bottom part. And then the top part, I figured I'd just add a bead and then bring this down. Bead and then add a bit more chain to hang it with. So this is my 20 gauge wire. Again, it's the heavier gauge wire because I'm not doing any wraps or anything, and it's not top drilled. So let's bring that back. So there's my hanging. Oh, it looks like I might have to move that one over, but that's my project. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.